It's 2:47 in the morning. The room is completely dark, and then you feel it. A small, deliberate weight stepping onto the mattress. Slowly, carefully, one paw at a time. Your cat moves across the bed, not randomly, not restlessly, but with quiet purpose. They circle once, maybe twice, then they press themselves against the back of your knees, or they settle directly on your chest, and just when you think they're done, they're not. 20 minutes later, they've moved again. To your feet, to your pillow, to the edge of the bed, and then, without explanation, they're gone entirely, off the bed, out of the room, moving through the house in the dark like they're following something only they can sense. Then they come back. And somewhere between the third time you've been nudged awake and the quiet sound of them landing back on the mattress, a thought surfaces that you've never quite put into words. Why does my cat do this every single night? Most people assume it's restlessness, that cats are simply nocturnal creatures doing nocturnal things, a minor inconvenience, a quirk, something to laugh about in the morning. But what if that explanation is almost entirely wrong? What if what's happening at 2:47 in the morning, in the dark, in the quiet, is actually one of the most revealing windows into how your cat sees you, needs you, and processes the world around them? Because the behavior most owners dismiss as random nighttime chaos is, in reality, something far more layered, far more intentional, and far more emotionally significant than a simple sleep disturbance. 1. The crepuscular truth behind the timing. Cats are not purely nocturnal. This is one of the most persistent misunderstandings in feline behavior. Behavioral researchers studying wild and domestic cats have consistently observed that cats are crepuscular by nature, meaning their biological activity peaks at dawn and dusk, the edges of darkness, the transitional hours. But domesticated cats have done something fascinating. Over thousands of years of living alongside humans, many cats have partially shifted their rhythms to overlap with ours. Not completely, not perfectly, but enough that the late night, that quiet, low-stimulation stretch between midnight and early morning, sits in a complicated zone for them. They are not fully asleep. They are not fully awake. They're in between. And in between is exactly where movement happens. This isn't insomnia. It isn't restlessness for its own sake. From an evolutionary perspective, these are the hours when a cat's nervous system moves through what researchers call the predatory cycle. The hunt, the catch, the rest. Even when there is nothing to hunt, nothing to catch, and nothing to do but pace the edges of a dark bedroom. The instinct is still running. The biology is still turning. And you, sleeping quietly in the bed, become the anchor point for all of it. Horror 2. The repositioning behavior and what it reveals about stress. You've probably noticed that your cat doesn't just settle once and stay still. They move, repeatedly, across the bed, around the room, back again. Most owners read this as their cat being inconsiderate, a restless roommate who can't quite get comfortable. But there's something more precise happening here. Cats regulate their sense of safety through spatial awareness. In feral colonies, a cat that stays in one exposed position too long is vulnerable. Repositioning, even in a completely safe environment, is an instinctive behavior tied to what behavioral scientists call proximity maintenance, the constant low-level monitoring of space, exits, and the location of trusted individuals. You are one of those trusted individuals. This is where it becomes important. When your cat circles the bed and then repositions against your legs, they are not just looking for warmth. They are recalibrating, checking that you're still there, confirming that the anchor of their social world is present and safe. In the language of feline attachment research, this behavior mirrors what's observed between bonded cats in colonies, where sleeping proximity and frequent repositioning serve as continuous trust signals. Your cat isn't moving around you. Your cat is orienting around you. There is a difference, and that difference matters. 3. Why they wake you. The communication most owners miss. And now the part that tends to frustrate owners the most. The nudge at 3 a.m. The paw on your face. The sudden, inexplicable meow directly beside your ear. The kneading that begins at an hour no reasonable creature should be awake. Here is where most owners get it wrong. The instinct is to ignore it, to push the cat away, to roll over and hope they stop. And sometimes that's necessary. You need sleep. That's completely fair. But what's actually happening in those moments, behaviorally, is something worth understanding before you decide how to respond. Cats in the wild do not meow at each other. Adult feline vocalizations, the kind directed at other cats, are largely limited to mating calls and threat signals. The soft meow, the chirp, the insistent nighttime nudge, these are behaviors cats have developed almost exclusively for communicating with humans. Researchers who study cat-human communication have noted something quietly remarkable. Cats appear to customize their vocalizations based on individual owners. They learn what works, they refine the signal. The 3 a.m. wake-up is not random noise. It is a learned, targeted communication that your cat has developed specifically because they have observed that it produces a response from you. If you're starting to see your cat's nighttime behavior a little differently right now, if what felt like disruption is beginning to feel more like conversation, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. There's more of this kind of exploration coming. 4. The scent ritual, hidden in the night movements. There's a behavior that happens so quietly most owners never consciously register it. Before your cat settles beside you, or sometimes as they're repositioning across the bed, they're engaging in scent behavior. The slow pressing of a cheek or chin against a blanket, the way they knead before lying down. The deliberate circling before sleep. These are not arbitrary comfort gestures. Cats have scent glands concentrated in their face, paws, and flanks. Depositing scent on the sleeping area, and on you, is an act of territorial and social marking that carries deep psychological significance. In feline social structure, scent marking shared spaces is one of the primary ways bonded individuals communicate ownership, safety, and belonging. When your cat presses their face against your pillow at 2 a.m., they are layering their scent into the most intimate space in your home. The space where you are most vulnerable, the space where you sleep. From a behavioral perspective, this is not a minor comfort ritual. It is your cat saying, in the oldest language they have, "This place is ours. This person is mine. I belong here." 5. The one signal. Almost everyone misreads. This is the one most people miss. Sometimes, the cat that wakes you in the night, the one that paces, repositions, nudges, and vocalizes, is not doing so out of biological restlessness alone. They are doing it because something in their environment has shifted, and you are the only one they trust enough to tell. Behavioral researchers studying domestic cat stress have documented that cats under mild anxiety, from environmental changes, new routines, the presence of an unfamiliar scent, even shifts in household tension, often increase nighttime proximity-seeking behavior. They don't withdraw, they move toward the attachment figure, toward you. Cortisol levels in cats rise under low-grade stress in ways that are not always visible during the day, when there is enough stimulation and activity to mask them. But at night, in the quiet, when the house settles and the distractions disappear, that underlying unease surfaces, and the cat's nervous system does what it has learned to do: find the safe person, stay close, monitor, recalibrate. This is why the timing matters, why it's always at night, why it's always around you. The darkness removes everything else, and what remains is the bond. There is something quietly profound about what happens in those dark, interrupted hours. Your cat, who spends so much of the day appearing independent, self-sufficient, slightly indifferent, operating on their own schedule, reveals something different at night. In the still hours, when the world narrows down to a single room and a sleeping human, the behavior changes. They return to you, again and again. Not because they have nowhere else to go, not because the bed is simply warm, but because across thousands of years of shared evolution, something has been built between this species and ours that doesn't fully shut off when the lights go out. A cat who wakes you at night is a cat who knows where safety lives, and they keep coming back to it. That's not an inconvenience, that's trust. Moving quietly through the dark toward the person it belongs to.